what can I say about John? John was just this amazing guy. He was just such a open, receptive, friendly sort of person. You almost felt that you've known him for years and years, and even if you'd only just met him for 5 minutes, he was a genuine guy.
One of the great things about John was that he was the sort of person that didn't sit on things. If he needed to do something, he just went out and did it. He didn't wait, he didn't hesitate, he just did it.
I can't quite remember how the idea of a wood actually came about. I think at the wake after John's funeral, somebody said we should plant a tree, and that seemed a very good idea. And in the true spirit of John, one tree became hundreds of trees, and hundreds of trees became thousands of trees. And, you know, 1 square metre became hundreds of square metres, in fact became several hectares. Anyway, it seemed a good idea, so we formed the Friends of John Lally Wood, and we got going. We chose to plant on St Nicholas Fields mainly because it was a place that was very dear to John. He helped campaign to get it set up as an urban nature park in the late 80s, and he used to go there a lot with Dylan, his dog, and Tom, his son. So it was a place that was very fitting to plant a wood in John's memory.
Well, St Nicholas Fields Urban Nature Park actually takes its name from St Nicholas's Church, which was a 12th century church just about 200-300 yards down the road over here. That was destroyed in 1644 after the Battle of Marston Moor. St Nicholas in the more recent times was a quarry site for clay, and all the houses in the surrounding housing estates were made from bricks that were quarried and fired on site. It was then used as a landfill site by the City Council from the mid-60s to the late 70s. And when we came here in '88, the council wanted to turn this into an industrial estate. And we campaigned, when I say we, it was York Natural Environment Trust, of which I was a member and John was a member, and we campaigned from '88 up to '92 to turn it into a park. You know, it was just a perfect place. It's all about John. You know, here was this old rubbish tip that we were turning into a woodland, and that was what John was about, you know, turning things green.
The people who did the planting came from different times in John's life. Some knew him when he was in Scarborough, from when he was quite young. Others had known him when he'd been in London, through the various things that he'd done, through his photography, through his environmental work, through knowing him as a childminder, through knowing him working with other community groups, and of course Greenpeace in York. A real diverse mix.
I did feel it was the sort of thing he would love to have been involved in. You know, you could just imagine 5 or 6 of us digging away there, and just ambling over the hill would come John with Dylan on his lead with his spade ready to join in.
We raised the money to plant the wood in a few different ways. A couple of people had car boot sales, so we all turned out our attics. We had some donations of trees from people. People brought along trees that they'd grown in their gardens and planted those there, which was very nice. We had a grant of £500 from the City Council. But the big money really came from the Forestry Commission. They gave us a grant of £4,000 and we got 70% of that up front to buy the trees, and then after a few years we got the remaining 30%, which basically funds maintenance.
Planting the trees was generally done in the autumn or winter, and it always seemed to be on cold, wet weekends, occasionally weekends when there was a blizzard blowing. I think we had the odd bit of sunshine, but generally water was heavily involved in the planting experience. Now the council capped the old Mixfield rubbish tip with a metre of river clay, and of course once you get a lot of water mixed up with the river clay you get this slimy, sludgy mess which tended to suck wellies off people's feet, and you'd end up falling on your bottom and getting absolutely caked in this clay.
It was clay, solid clay. We were up to our knees in that sort of conditions. It was blistering cold weather. The thing that was amazing was the camaraderie among the people who were working together. We were all friends and we were working for a common purpose.
Really the main thing about the wood is it's going to be a green lung in that part of the city, and it's great that that green lung has been created as a result of John's memory, and I hope that people will always associate that wood with John and know that it would never have happened if it hadn't have been for John.
I would say 97, as much as 97% of that wood has taken. The usual rate for success is about 68 to 70%. So to have 97%, because I walked around it about a month ago with the original forestry officer that helped us in putting the scheme together. And he was absolutely amazed at the rate of success we've had. And this is brilliant, and I think this is a tribute to, one, the quality of the planting, and we were all new at it. I was new at it. I mean, I'd planted some trees before, but not on the scale that we'd been doing. I mean, at the end of the day, we've planted nearly 5,000 odd trees, which is amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's a wonderful place, it's a really peaceful place to go to. And it's something that's part of the relationship that we had with John, but is also a symbol of the relationship that we have with each other as planters and as people involved in the wood. It's something that we can then pass on to the community, and people will ask, well, why, did we plant this wood in his memory? And it means that people will carry on talking about him, which is only right and proper.
A wood will last forever. An oak tree takes 800 years to grow and 200 years to die.